And we are live.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. This meeting of Ajax Council is being held electronically and live streamed on the town's website. All members of council in attendance are. Pardon? Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I'm hearing a delay.
My apologies, Mr. Mayor. It was my audio.
Okay. All members of council in attendance are participating by audio and video teleconference, and town staff are available throughout the meeting if council members have any questions on the agenda. For members of the public watching from home, please bear with us if we encounter any technical difficulties throughout the meeting. I'll now call this meeting to order. I'd like to begin this meeting by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is situated within the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas, more specifically, the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, signatories of the Gunshot Treaty of 1788 and the Williams Treaties of 1923. This land is and will continue to be home to the Indigenous peoples. Let us acknowledge the mistakes and traumas of the past through authenticity and support truth and reconciliation. Let us engage and celebrate Indigenous communities by being leaders of action and acknowledging the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's recommendations toward truth and reconciliation. Let us keep these principles close as we continue towards truth and reconciliation and as we move forward with kindness and respect as a community. Does any member of council have any disclosure of pecuniary interest? No, I have one. I would like to declare pecuniary interest on a portion of the GDC budget report, item 7.2.1 of the council agenda and item 6.2.1 of the budget GDC report, because I have a family member that works in the recreation department. You'll be asking, I'd like the recreation portion of the GDC operating budget to be separated from the rest of the approval so I can vote on it separately, please, Mr. Clerk. Moving on to adoption of the minutes. Moved by Councillor Bauer. Oops, let me just pull this up. There we go. Moved by Councillor Bauer, second by Councillor Tyler Moore, and that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on January 23rd, 2023 be adopted. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Nope, hearing, seeing none. Those in favor of approval of the minutes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is carried. I'm sorry, I forgot at the beginning of the meeting, council, to make an announcement that Councillor Dyes is not well and sends her regrets for tonight. Mr. Clerk, has any member of the public submitted any questions under question period?
No, Mr. Mayor, they have not.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to delegations. Our first delegation, Durham Black Network, Black History Month, Carrie Ann Fenn, President, Carrie Ann Fenn Foundation, and co-founder, Durham Black Network. Is Ms. Fenn here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, please go ahead, Ms. Fenn, with your delegation. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. I need permission to share my screen, please.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone, members of council, staff, community members. It is Black History Month 2023. This year's theme is Ours to Tell. Our Black community have carried the weight of racism on our shoulders, but regardless, we have made great contribution to the foundation of our town and Canada. We have faced barriers, suppression, bullying, harassment, among many other issues that we've faced. We've served in positions as doctors, lawyers, advocates, designers. We raise our head high still and continue to work because the future of our children depend on it.
Excuse me, Ms. Fenn, I'm sorry to interrupt. Oh, okay, never mind. I see it's changed to the Thank you.
Zoom. For those who may not know, my name is Carrie Fenn. I'm the founder, as Mayor Collier said, of the Carrie Fenn Foundation and the co-founder of Durham Block Network. On behalf of Durham Block Network and the Carrie Fenn Foundation, I'm here to present on behalf of the members of Durham Block Network. I'm also a TV show host at Rogers TV. I'm in my 5th year as an award-winning TV show host in my 5th year on Rogers TV. I'm also the recipient of the Queen Jubilee Pin Outstanding Community Service work. I've been honored to serve in governance and healthcare, among other things. Durham Block Network is a group of Black community members, 70% and allies 30%, working to advocate and address systemic Black racism in an effort to eliminate systemic issues. The mission is to identify, eliminate, and combat, and the vision is to have a legacy and have a sense of belonging where members are respected and feel valued. We actually hosted our 2nd Black Experience Town Hall in the municipality of Clarington. It was a partnership between the municipality of Clarington, the Clarington Public Library, and funded by the federal government, the Canadian Race Relations Foundation, for our 2nd town hall focused on healthcare and mental well-being. In this event, we focus on moving forward conversation in order to address the systemic barriers that exist in healthcare. We were able to have mental health experts, a registered nurse that talks about the physical impact of racism. We had community dialogue. We have many leaders in the community who were present and took part in this event. In one study in 2017, Black Experience Project was sponsored by Durham Region. It highlights how anti-Black racism affects the Black community, shaping their mental well-being. 67%, regardless of socioeconomic award in her name to recognize her legacy and continue with the work that she's doing to service in the community.
Since you left, and here on earth, everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky. I hope you're singing in the angels' choir. I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived.
Olga was a fierce advocate and a strong believer in service in her community. She's worked tireless for the town of Ajax. We are honoring her memory and her legacy. Olga was a close friend. I watched her through her battle with cancer. The last time I spoke to her, she drilled me on how Ajax is doing. And, she asked about some of the counselors here, and she was just proud to be a resident of Ajax. And, I said to her, I'll see you on Monday after I finish filming, because I saw her on a weekly basis, and she lost her battle to cancer, but she left a big shoe to fill and a legacy that will continue with many of us. So in regards to our Durham Block Network, I believe Durham Block Network members showed you this t-shirt before. We revised it in honor of Olga Lambert. So we have our sponsors logo on the back and the front. She tends to have her head wrap a lot. So, equity and equality, do it for the culture, Durham Block Network. And then on the back, it has Together We Are Stronger, which is so important in working together as a community. So Billie Jane Bolton Rojo, my co-founder for Durham Block Network, she was recognized for Black Excellence Award, and the Allyship Award went to Deidre Newman, a lawyer. Deidre Newman, I faced one of the worst systemic anti-Black racism in Durham Region. Several times I was exposed, unfortunately, but I've had great people, great lawyers behind me that stood by me. One of them is my best friend whose parents actually are the first settlers in Newcastle. So I've been honored to know a lot of people who stood by my side
Sorry.
and helped me.
Ms. Fenn, you're at 6 minutes and 6 seconds. We allow 5 minutes. You'll have to wrap up, please.
Not a problem, Councillor. Collier. So on behalf of Durham Black Network, we want to thank you for this opportunity to speak with you tonight. It's been an honor to do these projects from the town of Ajax and to be able to work in the name of our community and supporting our community.
Thank you for your delegation. Any questions to Ms. Fenn on the delegation? Okay, seeing, hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Fenn. Moving on to our next item 5.2, declaration and proclamation, Save Soil, Conscious Planet. Kiran Manjunath, volunteer for Save Soil and resident of Ajax, and Archana Janardana, volunteer for Save Soil and resident of Ajax. Are Kiran and Archana here?
Yes, I'm here, Ms. Mayor.
Okay, and I see Archana as well. Please go ahead when you're ready and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening to all our leaders from Ajax, including our mayor and council members. Thank you for this opportunity to present this information to you. And also thanks to all the guests and other folks who are watching this. We are here to talk about Save Soil. Why are we talking about soil? What is the context? That's what I'm going to get into. But Save Soil in a nutshell is a global movement. It's an inclusive one and a very joyous one. It has, I will get into the details very soon, but in fact, it has raised a lot of awareness about soil and why it's important, not only for our climate and also for our sustenance on this planet, not just for our generations, but also the future generations on this planet. On the next slide, you will see that this is some information, so please bear with me. There are some facts here. I'll get through this quickly. Soil is the biggest terrestrial carbon sink on this planet. It stores 3 times more carbon than living plants, 2 times more carbon than the atmosphere. So it's really important to conserve our soil. Otherwise, the carbons get emitted and there will be billions of tons of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere if we don't take care of our soils. Soil is also the biggest water soak on the planet. In fact, 65% of our fresh water on the planet is stored in soils. 95% of our food comes from the soil. So we really need to take care of soil in order to survive on this planet and to thrive on this planet. Why do we call soil soil? We call it soil mainly because there's organic content, including gases, liquids, living organisms, microbes, etc. As part of the soil. That's what makes soil soil, actually. Moving to the next slide. But today, having spoken about the significance of soil, today more than 50% of our soils have been degraded. In fact, 50 to 70% of the original carbon stock within soils have been lost. This is due to certain due to lack of certain legislation, certain practices, and so on. Also, half of our today the food we eat has only half the micronutrients they used to about 100 years ago. In fact, billions of us are suffering from nutritional deficiencies, and we need supplements in order to cover for those deficiencies. So soil is a very important part, not only to fill our stomachs, but also to give us enough nutrition and health and well-being on this planet. As we speak, there are, in this world, there are thousands of farmers that have committed suicide because of depleted soils. Their incomes have gone down. They're unable to feed their families, feed themselves, and also live a proper living. Many of the poor are also directly affected by land degradation. It could be because they have to move away from their regions or from their countries and en masse move to other countries, especially women and children bear the grunt of this. So conserving soil is very important on this planet because it's the only planet that we know in this cosmos which has soil. We can't find soil on Mars or Moon or any other cosmic entity at this point. So it's really important for us to conserve soil. On the next slide. So the main solution to conserving soil on this planet is to bring back at least 3 to 6% organic content in the soil from about 1% today. The aim of Save Soil is also to bring in legislation that will help us conserve soil. Since Sadhguru, who is the founder of the Save Soil movement, he took a lone motorcycle journey last year, starting on March 21st. He went to 30 countries, did over 700 events within 100 days, and raised a lot of awareness about soils. In fact, we were able to reach more than 2 to 3 billion people on this planet, and they've shown support for Save Soil. As you can see, it's a very inclusive one, and it's a very joyous one. So a lot of people have shown support, and they understand why it's really important to conserve soil on this planet and renew soil on this planet as well. As part of Save Soil, Sadhguru also addressed members of United Nations countries. More than 190 countries were present at COP15 last year, and he presented a policy document and provided enough insights and inputs to help countries pass legislations on conserving soil. Today, as councillors, as mayors, you have codes and laws for how we build homes, how we maintain our homes, and things like that. But there is no such code for a farm today. I could be a farmer and I could deplete the soil and I can sell that farm to another farmer. There is no legislation today. So one of the main objectives of Save Soil is to bring in legislation through incentives for farmers and other folks who can conserve soil. And then using those incentives, the farmers can not only improve their incomes, but also their well-being as well.
Mr. Manchuneth, you're
yes, sir.
About a minute and a half over time, so you're going to have to wrap up, please.
Yes. Canadians have been leaders in climate conservation and climate change, and they're not strangers to Save Soil. In fact, in GTA and many other Canadian cities, Save Soil has been well supported, and mayors and council members have stood up for Save Soil. And we've witnessed a lot of support for Save Soil, even within the Durham region. In fact, some of us presented about Save Soil to the Durham regional leadership as well. On the next slide, you will see there are a number of events we've held throughout GTA over the last year to 2 years, and there are more events coming up.
Sorry, Mr. Manchuneth, I'm going to have to stop you there.
We're done. Yeah,
we're well over. Thank you. Thank you for your delegations. Any member of council have any questions to the delegates? I just have one. I wonder, I mean, you're making this delegation to us at the municipal level, which is appreciated. It's very informative, but we're not the ones that make legislation. Have you made this presentation to our MPPs and MPs and to the federal and provincial government levels?
Yes, definitely. We've launched a letter campaigns. A lot of school kids have written letters to our Prime Minister and the cabinet ministers, and also as adults, we've written many thousands, in fact, maybe more than tens of thousands of people have written letters to our federal government and leaders, and also provincial leaders as well. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we've also presented at the COP15, and all the member nations and the leaders coming from various countries are made aware of this campaign, and many leaders across the world are also in support across the world.
But in Ontario, we have a provincial government that's opening up the Greenbelt. Yes. And they've opened up over 7,000 acres of prime agricultural land for development. And I think they're the ones that make the legislation, and they're probably the ones that should hear your message.
Definitely, Mr. Mayor. And in fact, I'm a big supporter of this council and what you've done for the Green Belt. Recently, I saw in the news that you presented to the provincial leadership about alternative land that you'll make available for more homes in this region. So we really appreciate that, and we will definitely take our message to the provincial government and other governments as well. We'll continue to do that. Yeah.
Any further questions for the delegation? Okay, hearing, seeing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next item, we have a present. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I believe we have a proclamation. There we go. So we have a proclamation from the town of Ajax hereby proclaims March 21st, 2023 as Save Soil Day, presented on behalf of the mayor and Ajax Council. So I think the clerk will provide you with the hard copy of that, and that proclamation is made today,
Wonderful.
effective March 21st.
Thank you so much to everyone.
All right. Thank you for your delegation. Moving on to our next presentation, Ajax Public Library Bookmark Contest winner. We have Sarah Vasler, Chief Library and Executive Officer, and Sarah Dodge, Coordinator of Community Management.
Hi there, everybody. Good evening, members of council.
Good evening.
Eric Collier. It's my pleasure to show you the annual Design a Bookmark Contest winners. There were over 109 bookmarks submitted, and we had votes from nearly 300 individuals. So without any further ado, I do have a video that I would ask that is shown to the council members. Clerks, there should be audio with this video. Can you ensure that you're able to share the video with audio?
One moment. Let me confirm that the settings are correct. My apologies. Let's try this again.
Ajax Public Library proudly possess our design at bookmark contest winners.
Hello, my name is Peter and I am 7 years old. I created the winning bookmark for the month of January 2023.
Hi, my name is Anaya and I am 9 years old. I created the winning bookmark for the month of February 2023.
I'm 4 and I am the winner of the bookmark competition.
And I created
And I curated
the bookmark for March 2023. For March 2023.
Hi, my name is Ava. I'm 13 years old and I created the winning bookmark for the month of June 2023.
Hi, my name is Olivia and I'm 5 years old. I made the bookmark for July 2023.
Hello, my name is Anastasia. I'm 10 years old and I've created the winning bookmark for the month of August 2023.
Hi, my name is Kanisha and I'm 13 years old. I created the winning bookmark for the month of September 2023. Thank you so much to the Ajax Library for this amazing opportunity. Congratulations to all the participants and the winners, and good luck to all the participants in the future.
Hi, my name is Lakshit. I am 8 years old. I created the bookmark for October 2023.
Hello, my name is Tanish and I am 11 years old. I created the winning bookmark for November 2023.
I had so much fun designing this bookmark, and a big shout out to the Ajax Public Library.
Hi, my name is Chloe. I'm 8 years old, and I created the winning bookmark for December 2023. Bye.
Congratulations to our winners.
Thank you. Thank you. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you for taking the time. It is so important to all of the children who participate. You can see their enthusiasm and pride in winning this year's contest.
Very good. Thank you very much. And our congratulations to all of the contestants, are they? All the applicants. Does any member of council have any questions to Ms. Vaisler or Ms. Dodge on the bookmark contest? Seeing, hearing none. Excellent job. Thank you very much. Hopefully we can do it in person next year. Moving on to our next, we have Economic Development and Tourism Strategy and Action Plan. Samuel Tomasi, Manager of Economic Development, and Simon Gill, Director of Economic Development and Tourism, Invest Durham from the region of Durham.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to introduce Simon Gill. As the Mayor already pointed out, Simon Gill is the Director of Economic Development and Tourism with Durham Region. He's here to present Durham Region's Economic Development Strategy and Action Plan. I'll move it over to Simon.
Thank you, Samuel. I'm sharing my screen. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'm here to present Ready, Set, Future, which is Durham Region's new 5-year economic development and tourism strategy and action plan. Our strategy begins by acknowledging that while the region's been developing meaningful relationships and working towards reconciliation with local First Nations, Métis, Inuit, we recognize a more comprehensive approach to reconciliation is needed to address systemic inequities and racism, and to better support, celebrate, and deliver services to Indigenous peoples in the region. Also, I'd like to note that the strategy endeavors to enable economic opportunities for people of diverse backgrounds, identities, abilities, and life stages, and aims to create an inclusive, prosperous future for everyone. Developing this new strategy has been a long journey, with input from a diverse and inclusive group of over 80 leaders from area municipalities, post-secondaries, innovation community, business community, the chambers of commerce and boards of trade, and so on. We took a deep dive into the data to understand Durham's demographic and economic trends. We considered the global drivers of economic change, and we worked collaboratively to develop a long-term vision for Durham. A vision where Durham's distinct creative identity and its vibrant and diverse downtowns will be magnets for talent and investment, and the region's innovation community will be known for solving global challenges. The contributions from all our partners as to where our economy needs to be 30 years from now were grouped into 4 long-term aspirations: people, location, acceleration, and creativity. And the strategy is supported by 3 enablers. But before we look at this work that we're going to undertake over the next 5 years to reach these aspirations, I'll take you through 2 other concepts that emerged as part of the process. The first is that the work we'll undertake will be guided by 8 core principles. These 8 principles permeate through every part of the work plan, and they guide why and how we'll deliver on our goals. The first is collaboration. We must be coordinated because together we can achieve much more. Talent, the currency of the future economy. A distinct identity through culture. Vibrant, financially attainable downtowns, because you can't bring in talent without places that talent can afford. The next 2 principles are critical to the success of any economic development strategy. their diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the climate emergency response. Principle 7 is innovation, and lastly, infrastructure and investment readiness, because even if you get everything else right, it's difficult to welcome an investment if there's nowhere for them to land. The second large concept that emerged is that we need to narrow our focus and focus on certain priority clusters. We can't really focus on everything. We had to be selective and work to create opportunities and investments in clusters that will strengthen existing networks, that have strong global growth prospects, that will create great high-value jobs, and that will improve our regional reputation. And in Durham, we identified these to be future energy, next generation mobility, arts, culture, and creative, applied digital technology, and agri-food. So back to our place aspirations, getting into the nuts and bolts of our work plan now. We had our sights set 30 years into the future to allow us to create a work plan for the next 5 years that would send us confidently down that path of reaching our vision. And the first one, people. In 30 years, we want to be a leader in Ontario for workforce skill and education attainment. And to get there over the next 5 years, we've plotted out 17 action items across these 4 goal areas on your screen. Identifying the future talent requirements of business, unlocking the potential of women and other underrepresented communities in the STEM-T fields, that's science, technology, engineering, math, and the trades or technical skills, connecting businesses to talent, and attracting and retaining talent. The next aspiration for 30 years from now is location. We want to capitalize on the potential for strong intensification and renewal in our urban cores and grow vibrancy and diversity in our many downtowns. To get there, over the next 5 years, we have 12 action items to set us confidently down that path across these 3 goal areas. First, we'll work on growing and urbanizing our growth centers. We'll facilitate rural resilience, and we'll create magnetic downtowns that, by virtue of their quality of place attributes, will draw in talent and innovative businesses. The third is acceleration. In 30 years, Durham's innovative businesses will continue to solve global challenges. And over the next 5 years, there are 22 action items we'll undertake to accelerate our economy across these 4 goal areas on the screen. We will work to strengthen the local innovation community, including Spark, 1855, and our post-secondary incubators. We'll work to grow and help key local businesses. We'll continue to build the region's strong reputation of solving global challenges, and we'll proactively attract investment. And the last is creativity. Over 30 years, we want to build and promote our distinct identity for the arts, cultural, and creative industries. And over the coming 5 years, we have 20 projects and programs planned over these 4 goal areas on the screen. We'll build our tourism brand of urban excitement and country charm. We'll continue to support our area municipalities in strengthening our quality of place. We will champion inclusive tourism, like we did with the recent 2023 Ontario Parasport Games. And we'll drive prosperity through local love, increasing spending at our locally owned and operated businesses. And we've also identified 3 enablers for the successful delivery on this strategy. They include working toward coordination and maximizing the efficiency of all teams working together, a resourcing plan, and metrics and KPIs for each goal. So, with leaders from across our diverse economy and armed with the data and the global drivers of change, we looked 30 years out into the future, and our vision cumulatively started to take shape for what our economy could look like. These place aspirations, people, location, acceleration, and creativity led us to create a strong and actionable 5-year work plan consisting of 71 action items that will confidently send us down that path toward achieving this vision. The work that we'll undertake is guided by these 8 important growth principles, and our focus will be on 5 clusters that we think have extraordinary potential to create great new high-value jobs and grow Durham's capacity for innovation. Thank you very much for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does any member of council have any questions to Mr. Gill on the presentation? You've been very, oh, Councillor Crawford, your hand is up.
Hi, thank you, Simon, for that presentation. I just wondered, as part of the agro portion of this, is the Barrett Foundation that we opened up, I think it was last fall, is that part of that?
The agri-food sector is certainly a huge part of our growing economy, and yes, definitely supporting the innovative initiatives of our post-secondary institutions is a huge part of the work that we're going to be doing, and helping Durham College find that perfect spot for their sustainable urban agriculture, Center for Sustainable Urban Agriculture, is part of that work that we're going to continue to undertake. We also have laid out a very action-oriented plan to specifically grow the agri-food sector. It's called Growing Agri-Food Durham, and it just recently, in the summer, received endorsement from Regional Council. And I'd be pleased to follow up and circulate to that report to this council. It's very much focused on growing on-farm diversified uses, increasing sustainability of our local agri-food value chain, increasing things like agritourism, and improving the supply chain.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions? Nope, hearing, seeing none. Thank you very much for your presentation. That concludes our delegations and presentations. Moving on to correspondence. Let me just pull up my there we go. Are there any polls on items of correspondence? Councillor Lee?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Excuse me. I wanted to pull number 5, number 8, and then number 10, please.
For endorsement?
Yes, for all 3.
Number 4, Councillor Bauer?
Thank you, Mayor Collier. I'd like to pull number 16 for endorsement, please.
Any other polls? Okay, on the balance, I have moved by Councillor Crawford, second by Councillor Lee, that the report dated February 27, 2023 containing items of correspondence be received for information. Those in favor of receipt? Let me see your hands. Any opposed? No, that's carried. First one is item 4. I wanted to speak to it, so I'll turn the chair over to Councillor Crawford. Let me just pull this up. This is just, I just want to speak to this because this is the Envision Durham draft regional official plan that's come out. I just want to make an announcement. I have a motion coming to Regional Council on Wednesday, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Anderson from Clarington. You'll also see here on correspondence item number 5 is a motion from Municipality of Clarington regards to the same thing, Envision Durham. They have requested through motion that the region, and you would have heard me ask this question to the delegate on Save the Soil. The region has opened up the province has opened up a number of greenbelt lands, 7,500 total, 4,500 of which are in the region of Durham. And the Clarington motion asks the regional staff to look at what the impact of these will be through our municipal comprehensive review process to the urban boundary settlement expansion, because scenario 2A is opening up over 9,000 acres of new land, and then we've added another 4,500 through the opening of the greenbelt. Their motion will be ruled not out of order, but will require 2/3 because it's a motion to reconsider. The motion I'm bringing on Wednesday is just asking for a report to report back on what the impact of these 4,500 acres of greenbelt land means to the region as far as inventory. There was also a great article that came out today from Envision Durham, which talks about the inventory of available lands in the province right now within urban boundaries is enough to accommodate over 2 million housing units without opening up the greenbelt. So I think it's incumbent on us as a regional council to at least look at, identify, and study what these greenbelt lands opening up means, because when we made the decisions last year on May of 2022, we made it on a set of facts that were true at the time, and those facts have now changed. So I hope this motion will pass, and it may affect this Envision Durham update or this Envision Durham proposed growth out, sorry, which one? The release of the draft new regional official plan, because part 2 of the motion asks for this to be paused until the report comes forward. So let's hope that passes. Other than that, I will just move for receipt, Madam Chair, for this item.
Okay, is there any other council member that have questions on this? If not, all in favor?
I just need a
We
second.
need a seconder. I need a seconder. Councillor Lee, all in favor? Thank you. Back
Thank
to
you.
you, Mayor.
Moving back to Council Lee, item 5.
You spoke on it a bit. Just realistically, we've said this many times, and it becomes true even more. The planning world changed the day after the municipal election with all the bills that came forth from the province, and it's unfair to ask our planning staff or our elected officials to make these rapid decisions based on parameters that were set before and then grossly changed after October 28th, whenever the election was. So, I think the Clarington ask of pausing it till at least the end of next month, give it another month to process this new land that we're working with so we can properly figure out what is going to be cut into how is a very reasonable ask. And I hope Ajax will endorse that position. So I am also moving to endorse.
Can I get a seconder to endorse, please? Seconded, I saw Councillor Bauer first. Council Lee, absolutely agree. I think it's incumbent on us to at least look at it. I don't know why people wouldn't. At least let's just look at it and see what it means, rather than just turn it down. Again, these decisions were made based on a set of facts that were true at the time that are not true anymore. And to me, opening up 9,000 plus acres of urban settlement boundary expansion when the situation has changed at the cost of potentially hundreds of millions of dollars to the region and the taxpayers of the region of Durham makes me want to look at it a second time. So I absolutely will support endorsing this as well. Anything further on item 5? Nope, those in support of endorsement? That's carried. Item number 8, Councillor Lee.
Thank you, Chair. This is just to reiterate the existing council position that we support the new Lakeridge Health Hospital in the city of Whitby. I'd love just some sort of additional confirmation from the province, so to speak, to just ensure that we aren't playing in any games, so to speak, of possibly moving locations based on whoever is in favor with the province of the time. And Ajax does not have a horse in this race, so to speak. We already have our own awesome hospital, but I just want to reiterate our consistent support to the city of Whitby and their hospital commitment. Thank you, Chair.
Can we get a seconder, please? Second by Councillor Crawford. I'll reiterate that, Councillor Lee. I want to see this endorsed as well. We actually politically stayed out of the entire whole process of choosing the selected site. The consultants did that. The board of directors of Lakeridge Health unanimously approved this site. And now this motion is requesting that the province move ahead with the $3 million it needs for the next phase and to start the process as far as moving this forward. So I absolutely think this is the right thing to do to endorse with these requests. So thank you for moving this for endorsement. Anything further on this item? Nope, those in support of endorsement? That is carried. Item number 10, Councillor Lee.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, Looked up where Petrolia is. It's right by Sarnia. So thank you, Councillor Bauer, for pointing that out. This is actually a pretty common sense motion, and I thoroughly support it. The gist of the motion is that school board elections fall under the responsibility of the municipality. And if you think of Durham, we have two different distinct school board, three including the French, and we have 8 different kind of electing procedures, and each municipality has to do it themselves. Whereas the school board, you know, there's money allocated to the school board. They should either be running their own elections, or the municipality should be getting some sort of compensation for, in a sense, doing the work of the school board. And, you know, we should absolutely be responsible for our own elections. I understand that. But the school board one that goes through, you know, in Durham, 8 different municipalities, 8 different election times, election results, that doesn't seem coherent. And either you compensate us for the effort that we're putting in, and I'm sure our clerk will jump in, it's probably considerable effort, or you just take that in-house, which I'm sure we'll be willing to let go. So I'd also move to endorse this, please.
Councilor Tyler Moore, I saw your hand.
I just move to support in second if you need it.
Perfect. Okay. I'm sure the clerk would love to comment on this, but I don't think a question has been asked. Such it is.
Okay, so
does seem
I could ask a
unfair.
question then. Quite honestly, if I may, Chair, to the clerk then, like, is it really a lot of extra time and effort from a staff point of view to run the additional election?
Cooper?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks for the question. Yeah, definitely. There is a lot of extra effort that's involved in administering the school board election in addition to the local elections. They are distinct from local council elections in a lot of ways, and there's you know, some extra effort and resource costs that come with that. So I'm not troubled by the thought of council endorsing this. I think it would be appropriate for those costs and that effort to be recognized in some way.
Totally agree. Anything further? Those in support of endorsement? That is carried. Finally, Councilor Bauer, number 16.
Thank you, Mayor Collier. Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge this and endorse it. This motion is full of points that have come up over a number of years, you know, that have come up during our community meetings, during the task force meetings, and presentations that we've had in our town about the issue. It's a national issue of homelessness, and it focuses on, you know, housing first, breaking down the silos of care, encouraging coordinated responses, the expertise of subject matter experts, and more funding from the appropriate levels of government. So I just think it's very important, and you know, it's coming from the Ontario Big City Mayors. So I think we should endorse it. Thank you.
I saw 2 hands simultaneously, Councilor Crawford and Councilor Lee.
Just happy to second.
Councilor Lee?
You know, like this homeless issue is going to be a recurring issue, especially for municipalities like Oshawa, like Ajax. And I think there is absolutely like a benchmark. You know, I recently read an article that Helsinki, Finland in the 80s had a homeless population of 20,000. And as of 2022, they're now down to just under 4,000. There's absolutely the ability to house these people. I think the stats were 3/4 of those that were housed in Finland ended up moving on, you know, were able to move on with their lives in a productive manner, which is the goal of this. But ultimately, it requires political will and capital, and that's what this motion asks for. And I think, you know, we'll continue to advocate for this kind of thing because there's no easy fix. It does require, you know, political capital and money, and that's something municipalities are very strapped for these days. So very much in support. Thank you, Chair.
Anything further on this? I'll just echo. I mean, Big City Mayors is a very strong voice. Together, the 29 of us represent over 70% of the province of Ontario, and we had a lengthy debate on this and put this together. So thank you so much, Councilor Bauer, for pulling this for endorsement. Those in favor? That is carried. I don't see any opposed. That completes our correspondence. Let me just catch up to where we are. Moving on to reports. We have our Community Affairs and Planning Report 7.1.1, Community Affairs and Planning Committee, February 6, 2023. Moved by Councilor Lee, second by Councilor Henry, that the Community Affairs and Planning Committee report dated February 6, 2023 be adopted. Questions on the CAP report? Nope. Those in favor of adoption? That's carried. Moving on to the GDC, which is the budget. 7.2, 7.2.1, 2023 operating capital budget, February 16, 2023. I will move this, second by Councillor Tyler Morin, and I'll turn it over to Councillor Crawford. That the General Government Committee 2023 operating capital budget meeting report dated February 16, 2023 be adopted, with the exception of the portion of the budget that deals with the recreation programs and active living operating budget, page 69 of the operating budget document. Councillor Crawford.
Thank you, Your Worship. Are there any questions or comments to this? If none,
I would just comment. Again, just to the budget, I want to thank our CAO and I want to thank our staff for all the hard work that went into this. Budgets are never easy. This is my 20th budget with the town of Ajax, and they don't get any easier. They actually get harder, because with this one, we have a number of other influences. Post-COVID, we have the reduction of our slots revenues. We have the reduction of our dividends from Lexicon. We have losses in our recreation revenues. We have plenty of outside influences from changes made through legislation, through different bills that have reduced certain revenues. And then at the same time, we have significant increases in costs to run the town that every homeowner and renter in Ajax is all too aware of. I mean, just go to the grocery store, go fill up your car. I mean, everything has gotten so much more expensive. And finally, things like having to have an asset management plan, and now we have our stormwater management strategy, and realizing how underfunded these are, and having to initiate special levies to deal with just these specific things. And finally, being a very rapidly growing municipality, again, growth does not pay for growth, and it will be harder and harder for growth to pay for growth going forward with new legislation. It's been a real challenge. This year, we have a blended rate of 3% increase to our taxes. I think that is very responsible. We have done this without cutting services. We've actually increased services considerably in this budget. We had, I think, 20 something new business plans. We've significantly increased services through this budget, and happy to do so. And I hope the residents see the difference. And I'm happy to move this and support it. And once again, thank you to council for your support, and thank you to all of staff, especially finance department and our CEO for all their hard work.
thank you. I think we can all say that too. Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? So we have a mover and a seconder.
I think we should have a recorded vote, please, Chair.
Okay, recorded vote. Clerk.
Okay, Mayor Collier.
In favor.
Councillor Bauer.
In favor.
Regional Councillor Dyes is absent. Councillor Henry.
In favor.
Regional Councillor Lee.
In favor.
Councillor Tyler Morin.
In favor.
And Regional Councillor Crawford.
In favor. Thank you.
That is unanimous.
Thank you. And back to you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Chair Crawford. Moving on to the next item, which is the one where I have declared a pecuniary interest, so I will not vote on this. Item 7.2, General Government Committee, 7.2.1, 2023 operating capital budget, moved by Councillor Bauer, second by Councillor Lee, that the portion of the budget that deals with the recreation programs active living operating budget be approved.
Should
Those in
this also
favor?
be recorded?
Probably, since I have an interest. Yes, thank you, Councillor Crawford.
Regional Councillor Crawford.
In favor.
Regional Councillor Dyes is absent. Councillor Henry.
In favor.
Regional Councillor Lee.
In favor.
Councillor Tyler Morin.
In favor.
Mayor Collier has a conflict, and Councillor Bauer.
In favor.
That is unanimous.
That is carried. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to our next item, the General Government Committee, 7.2.2, General Government Committee of February 21st, 2023. Moved by Councilor Lee, second by Councilor Henry, that the General Government Committee report dated February 21st, 2023 be adopted. Questions on GGC from this past Monday or Tuesday? Nope. Those in favor? Receipt. That is carried. Moving on to departmental reports. 7.4.1, Finance 2023-05, the 2023 report on non-cash expenses as required by Ontario Regulation 284-09. Moved by Councillor Crawford, second by Councillor Tyler Morin, that the report on excluded non-cash expenses as required by Ontario Regulation 284-09 be received for information. Any questions? Nope. Those in support of receipts? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to regional council reports. Councillor Crawford.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a few things to report on tonight. The Works Committee, we have a motion that went forward for around the Clear Bags pilot program that was supposed to start in Clarington, that we discontinue that project. I did kind of a survey myself from our own residents, just in Ward 1, and I couldn't find a single person in support of this. And the idea of a pilot is that if it's successful, then it would be rolled out through all of Durham Region. And staff were continuing to push it out, so a motion came forward to just not do it. Now, that's not official yet because we have council on Wednesday, right? Wednesday, yes, Wednesday. And so it will, if it passes, I don't know, that will be the deal on Wednesday. There was a really great announcement around the expansion of the green bins as of July the 1st this year. We are going to be able to put dog poo, diapers, feminine products, and other products into the green bin. The idea is that they would like to be able to use compost bags if possible, but knowing that is inconvenient and can be, especially if you've already bought your bags for your diapers and whatever. It's fine because the AD will actually it jiggles it around or whatever, and it floats the plastic to the top, and then it gets scooped out of that. So it works still fine, whether it's a compost bag or not. We would love to eventually for all residents to move towards that compost bag, but it's still acceptable. And so if you need an extra green bin, I got 2 dogs. So, I think I'm gonna have to order myself another green bin. The idea, of course, is that we will eventually move from 4 bags to 3 bags. That was actually voted down at Works because the municipality of Whitby and Oshawa, actually part of their garbage pickup is done by their own municipality. So their garbage and recycling and green bin pickup is split between Durham Region and their own employees picking it up. So until they come up with some sort of agreement with those 2 municipalities, then they said that we're going to keep it at 4 bags. I think that with this huge expansion of the green bin, that's going to be a natural progression, that you're going to go from 4 to 3 as it is. I mean, I generally have 1 bag in my household all the time. If you properly recycle and properly do the green bin, you don't have garbage bags. You don't have as much garbage. It does take some effort, but it can be done. So that was great news from the Works Department. Transit announced their plan now over the next 2 years to have in the budget approximately 2% to over the next 10 years dedicated to transit. And the thought process is we either have transit or we don't have transit. And if we really want to improve transit, the only way to improve transit is to put money into transit. Transit is expensive. We are introducing 5 new electric buses. That is a huge expense. It's the right thing to do for the environment, but it is extremely costly. And if we're going to try to get people back and forth, the GO Transit has been announcing 15-minute service coming in the future. And in order for Durham Transit to keep up with that alone, we have to increase our service just to the GO train alone at 15-minute service. So that is the announcement through Durham Transit. We had our first community community safety and well-being meeting last month. And this is the steering committee. So this committee has been meeting for all of last term, trying to develop the actual plan itself. And the main risk factors in the community that this committee will be identified is mental health, substance use, homelessness and basic needs, crime involvement, victimization, social isolation, and experiences of racism. And it's timely because today I attended a funding announcement through Mark Holland's office, Honorable Mark Holland's office, that they are going to be, the federal government will be investing over $4 million to Durham Region itself to deal with gangs, gang involvement, and youth. And all this money will go into Durham Region and will be handled through the Community Safety Wellbeing Plan. And so a great investment in Durham Region. We all have a right to basic needs, and we have a right to feel safe in our own communities. And it's great that the federal government has recognized that and has put funding behind it. The last thing, I think is that all I have to talk about? Seemed like a lot more. I wasn't at Vision Zero this month because I was at budget, so I couldn't go to Vision Zero. So anyway, that's basically my report. If there's any questions, happy to answer.
Thank you. Any other regional council reports? Councilor Lee?
Just kind of reiterating what Regional Councilor Crawford was saying, just at finance, we also approved the transit long-term service and financing strategy. I think we take transit for granted. I think a lot of people approach with the preconceived notion that our transit is what it is and cannot get better. Whereas, this 10-year stratagem is incredibly ambitious. It's going to be, an investment from us into the system. But the ideal is, like, if we're going to have all these growing communities, these, intensification, then transit is part and parcel. Transit is hand in hand with that. You can't have A without B. You can't have all these people in smaller communities and not give them the ability to get to the store without a car. And so I'm very much looking forward to the transit strategy that plays out over the next 10 years. I hope that, we can get to a place where it's very similar to Toronto or Chicago or New York or any other major metropolis that has a really robust transit system. I don't think we'll ever get to the point of Tokyo or Hong Kong. Those are just next level, but at least, North American transit should be our goal. We also approved the finance strategy, our long-term, our investment portfolio update, which is just very similar to what the town of Ajax is doing. We'll continue to search for other ways to leverage that, but ultimately our hands are literally tied by legislation on how we can invest money. And then we just had some approvals onto our various boards. So that was it from finance.
Councilor Dice, since her regrets, I'll just report on, planning, I really have nothing to report. We had a number of delegations on a number of different things, but really nothing that would affect us here. And as far as Police Service Board, we submitted the budget and to finance, and finance reduced it. So what I did at Police Service Board was requested our staff to identify exactly what that reduction would mean, because it's one thing to reduce a budget, but I said, okay, I want you to go back and tell them exactly what services are going to be cut by that budget reduction. So we've done that, and that will be coming back to the budget. Councilor Lee, when is the actual budget meeting? Do you know off the top of your head? Sorry, you're muted.
Yeah, it's March 29th.
March 29th. Okay, so that will be coming back, and the Police Service Board will come, the police chief will be coming back on March 29th. And we'll be making that presentation for the full ask again. And we'll be pointing out to the regional council that this is the request. This is your guideline. If you stick to your guideline, these are the services that are going to be cut. And please don't ask me off the top of my head what they are, because I don't remember. But there is a couple of different things that would actually be reduced if that happens. So we'll see what happens on March the 29th. But it is a very difficult time for policing. Again, we have very rapidly growing municipalities, being the region of Durham, all 8 of us. It's a large area and a very rapidly growing population. And unfortunately, a number of challenges with regards to crime in our region that we're having to address. Questions? Councillor Henry.
Sorry, who is asking for the reduction in the budget for police?
My understanding is it went to the Finance Committee as part of the package, and the Finance Committee recommended a reduction of, I think it was $1.7 million to the police budget.
And where can we find the list of services? I know you said you don't have them off the top of your head.
There isn't a list right now, Councillor Henry. It will be coming, it will be on the agenda for the March 29th Regional Council meeting.
Excellent, thank you.
Any other questions on Regional Council reports? Okay, being none, I have moved by Councillor Bauer and second by Councillor Henry that the Regional Council reports of February 27th, 2023 be received for information. And I should have done that first before questions, but anyway, here we are. Those in favor of receipt? I see all hands. That is carried. This brings us to the next motion, moved by myself, second by Councillor Lee, regarding updating permitted use and employment zones. I'll turn it over to Chair Crawford.
Okay, go ahead, Mayor Collier.
Thank you. I won't read it. I'll just read the therefores. This has been circulated to council and it's been out in the agenda for weeks. So just therefore be resolved that new public storage facilities not be permitted through the OP and zoning bylaw in any zone, and new motor vehicle gas bars and washing establishments not be permitted through the OP and zoning bylaw in any zone, and staff be directed to initiate the necessary work by April 2023. I'll just speak to it quickly. It's been quite some time that several years ago, we removed places of worship from employment zones because we were getting a lot of places of worship. I mean, if you want a place to worship, Ajax is your place. I think we have over 30 places of worship here. And the fact of the matter is we have a finite amount of employment lands, and places of worship are not big employers and they don't pay taxes. So it was taking away opportunities for employment and for growth. Unfortunately, gas stations, car washes, and self-storage facilities are very similar in nature. They do pay taxes, however, they don't employ a lot of people. And I've been mentioning for quite some time, and I do understand that public storage facilities are not allowed in our employment zones, but this goes a step further and says they're not allowed in any zone. Since I've been discussing this, since I've been mayor, we now have 3 and a 4th self-storage facility being built. And I understand that these applications were made before they were taken out of as a permitted use, but I don't want to see any more. And same with gas stations. We're in an environment where we passed a climate change emergency a few years ago, brought forward by Councillor Lee. We have been doing our best to reduce greenhouse gas. I drive an electric vehicle. Councillor Lee drives an electric vehicle. This is the sort of way things are going over time. And I think personally, gas stations are going to become obsolete at some point, but definitely be reduced. But right next to the location that's approved in Ajax, there is one approved in Ajax right now that may still happen with or without this motion because it's already approved. There's 2 more car washes which employ 1 or 2 people. So, I mean, in order to protect our employment lands going forward, as I mentioned, to which we have a finite amount, we need to make the highest and best use of those. And I think it's incumbent on us to remove these as permitted uses immediately. We could wait until the next iteration of the official plan review. I don't want to wait. I think this needs to be something that is initiated now. So I would ask for your support. Thank you.
I wonder if we could request that there be a minimum amount of dentists in one town. Never mind. Councillor Lee as a seconder.
Not even the town, just that one.
I don't
section.
think we can control
One
that.
section.
You got the dentist district. Very similar, I'm gonna just touch on a few points of, I don't think any of the 7 of us have ever heard the phrase, you know what we need in Ajax? Another gas station. Unless that gas station is the Costco gas station, in which case I completely get it. But ultimately, I think we have enough gas stations in Ajax to service the existing population as well as any kind of future growth we have planned. What we don't have enough space is real estate space for office buildings and other types of employment where we can get, those kind of jobs to fulfill the vision we've all had of, work, live, play. And unfortunately, I understand there's, gas stations do employ people, but we want more density. That's the name of the game for Ajax Council over the previous years and coming years is how do we maximize what little space we have left? Storage lockers, especially, I think we have plenty now. And should the time come where all of a sudden we are clamoring for that, we can always change our minds down the line. But right now, I think the most prudent thing is to focus on the type of jobs that we want to see in our town, create an identity, and it really starts with cutting out areas where we're set at, and we're definitely set with gas stations and storage facilities. So thank you, Mayor Collier, for bringing this forward. Absolutely thrilled to second and hope to get council's support on this. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. Councillor Henry, your hand is up. Did you want to speak to this?
I did.
Okay.
Just briefly. I just
go
want to
ahead.
say, I was in the mayor's office for the Ward 2 meeting when this subject matter came up, and he mentioned it at the beginning. And I fully agree with him and Councillor Lee on this, that it's about time this motion came forward. I actually very much welcome it, so thank you. That's it.
Councillor Tyler Moran.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Full support of this. And I think it bodes well because through you, Madam Chair, to Mayor Collier, I think we have a 35 jobs per square hectare kind of rule of thumb, and we've been pushing that as high as 50. Is there something in there you could comment on? Because this proves that how wrong it is to have 3 or 4 jobs on a site of a gas station.
Mayor Collier.
Speak to that, Chair, if you like. I
Thank
believe
you.
their official plan target is 32 jobs per net hectare. I have been telling landowners and developers 50. But to give you an example, the Amazon warehouse that employs 1,800 people is 112 jobs per net hectare. So it can be done, and we've proven it can be done. And but it won't be done if we don't take a hard stance on some of these. I wish I had the foresight to bring this 5 years ago, but I didn't. But anyway, bringing it now, and I think, yeah, we do have to move forward. But yeah, those are the numbers, Councillor Tyler Moore.
Thank you, and happy to support. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any further questions? If none, all in favor? Great, thank you. That passes. Back to you, Your Worship.
Thank you. That concludes the, let me go back up here. I'm juggling about 4 different pages here. Give me one second. Okay, so going back, moving on to bylaws, moved by Councillor Tyler Moore and second by Councillor Bauer. That bylaw number 05-2023 be read a first, second, third time and pass. Those in support of the bylaws, the easement in favor of Lexicon Energy.
Sorry, Mayor Collier, I just had a question about it.
Yeah, please go ahead, Councillor Bauer.
Thank you. Does this mean, I just want to understand what this means. Does this mean that a Lexicon is working to move some of the above head wires in that neighborhood to below ground?
I will ask either our Director of Operations or Planning, I believe. Or Economic Development. Oh, there we go. Mr. Romanowski?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, Samuel Tomasi is on the line. This comes through the economic development section. It's essentially an easement in favor of Lexicon Energy for, I believe, the lighting or electrical conduit into Cedar Park, if I'm not mistaken, Samuel.
That's correct. So basically what it is that Lexicon is planning to basically remove the upper portion of wire to go underneath the ground.
Perfect.
Just at Cedar Park?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you happen to know, and maybe this is not the time to ask, but is there plans? Because that whole area and most of Memorial Village and the older area of Ward 3 is all above ground. So is
Right.
Electron, moving in that direction of relocating underground?
Right now for this specific topic, it's only talking about that section, not the full neighborhood.
Okay.
What I can speak to though, Councillor Bauer, is I know that something was, and I can follow up with you on this outside of this meeting, but there was something circulated to department heads through the clerk's office related to working with electrical authorities and accommodation plans and capital programs and whatnot. And I think some of it did relate to relocating wire service to below grade service, but I can follow up with you offline on that.
That would be wonderful. Thank you. And
Well-
Mr. Samuel, sorry.
Hello, that's okay.
I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
Why Cedar Park? Is that because of the ball field?
No, it's not because of it's not just Cedar Park. It's specifically because of a development that's happening. It's
Right, okay. Yeah.
That's correct. So because of that development, that's why that is coming forward.
Okay, thank you. And yes, Director Romaneski, we can talk later. Thank you very much. That was, those were my questions.
Thank you.
Councilor Bauer, I'll just add, on behalf of Lexicon, especially after that major windstorm we had last summer, I brought forward to the board and to the president and CEO of Lexicon Energy the need to examine, especially the areas in South Ajax, examine starting to put the infrastructure underground. And a lot of North Ajax, a lot of the new developments, it's underground. And we don't get the power failures that are happening in some of the more established areas in South Ajax. Unfortunately, it's very, very expensive. Those areas are very developed with fences and retaining walls and pools and decks. And, to go in and start trying to do it underground is a challenge. However, we do have Bell down installing fiber optics in those areas, and it may be an opportunity with directional drilling, maybe not now, but when we redo roads, to investigate when you do a road, now running the electrical utility in the road and directional drilling to the houses. And it's something that I will continue to bring up through a Lexicon as opportunities come up.
Thank you
But
so
there
much.
is no plans right now.
Okay, thank you for that information. I appreciate that very much, advocating for that. So you have my full support in any way. Thank you.
I get the calls from my parents who live down there during power failures every time.
Yep.
Regional Councilor Crawford, your hand is up.
Yeah, and if that were to ever happen in the near future, please don't forget the village. The
course
section
not.
that is south of Highway 2, they were out for 8 days. And they have exactly the same issues as South Ajax. So if there's ever any discussion, please don't forget our that portion of the village. The development that you were speaking about, Director Romaneski, is that off Napton? Is that the one? Is that why?
Through the chair, yes, Councillor Crawford. It's
Okay.
the development just to the west of the brownstones.
Right, gotcha. Okay, thank you. That's it. Thank you very much, Your Worship.
You're welcome. Anything further on bylaws? Nope, seeing none. Those in favor of approval? That is carried. Does any member of council have any notice of motion? No. Is there any new business or announcements? Okay, I'll go top to bottom on my screen. Councillor Lee.
Thank you, Chair. It actually is very close to our next meeting, but it actually starts before. The holy month of Ramadan is going to start late March. So just wishing a prosperous and reflective Ramadan to each and every one of our Muslim constituents. Thank you, Chair. Oh, sorry, and one more thing. Councillor Henry and I are having our redo of our board meeting this Thursday on March 7th via Zoom. You can just click, there's a link that you can get, find it on social. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Bauer, you're next.
Thank you, Mayor Collier. This is not related to Ajax Council, but I thought it deserved to be recognized. I'd like to congratulate and acknowledge the Toronto District School Board and any other boards for their recent decision to change the curriculum of the mandatory grade 11 English course to a new program called First Voices, which focuses on understanding contemporary First Nations, Métis, and Inuit voices. This change is a direct response to the Truth and Reconciliation's call to actions number 62 and 63, which is regarding education for reconciliation. And I would just also like to give a shout out to a young person named Isaiah Shafkat, who was the Indigenous student trustee on TDSB, grade 12 student, who for the last 2 years has been advocating. He was appointed by the Elder Council to advocate for this change, and their hard work paid off. So congratulations on a great decision, in my opinion. That's it. Thank you.
And Councillor Crawford.
So I did a thing. I put my name in for an AMO director, which is I did last term too, and it's quite smartly rejected, but I never give up. So I tried again this year, and I made to the top 5. So I find out this year, or this week actually, if I made it. So it would be quite. It would be. Well, it would be quite a thing because we already have a regional representative through Whitby, Rhonda. But they put a call out for more directors. So I thought, well, what the heck, try again. So we'll find out this week if I got on.
Can we do anything to support that? Can we do a letter? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I had to put it was like a resume. I had to fill out a resume and tell them all the reasons why they should vote for me.
Okay.
So we'll see. I might get rejected two terms in a row. I don't know.
Love to support. Congratulations.
Or maybe they'll just let me in at a pity. I'm not sure. We'll see. Thank you.
Any other new business or announcements? I'll just announce, I know it's a ways away. March 28th will be the next Live with the Mayor. It's been a while. We had to stop because of the election coming up. So Tuesday, March 28th, 7 to 8 p.m. will be the Live with the Mayor. It'll be virtual. There'll be more information on ajax.ca coming. And I think that concludes. Moving on to the confirming bylaw. I have moved by Councillor Henry, second by Councillor Crawford. Oops. The bylaw number 06-2023 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Ajax at its meeting held on February 27th, 2023 be read a first, second, third time and passed. Any questions on the confirming bylaw? Nope. Those in favor? That is carried. And finally, moved by Councillor Tyler Morin, second by Councillor Bauer, that the February 27th, 2023 meeting of the Council of the Town of Ajax be adjourned. Those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, staff.
Thank you.
And everybody, enjoy the rest of your evening.
I'm going to shovel.
Good night.
Don't say that.